Hi, I'm Tanya. Welcome to my studio apartment. So this is my entryway, pretty basic entryway. I just have little hooks here for all of my coats and a shoe rack that I actually got for free. One of my neighbors moving out didn't need it, so I just took it from him and it perfectly fits all my shoes. This closet is my Monica closet. It contains all of my junk and also all of my clothes that I have to hang up. So we're not gonna look in there today. So over to my left, we have the washroom, which I'll talk about later, but we have an in-unit washer dryer here. Pretty standard, nothing in there. Also just some additional storage on the side for my vacuum and cleaning supplies. Above me near the entryway is one of my home workout installments, a pull-up bar. This is really handy to have in a studio because obviously you don't have space for any sort of gym machines and even free weights. I don't really have much floor space for it. So this is really nice to have. It's very out of the way. I've been training to do a chin up and I'm gonna do one now. So even when I don't have time to work out during the day, I like to just hang around literally and practice my chin-ups. So this little corner right off my kitchen was really just dead space before. There wasn't much I could do with it, so I always like to throw plants in dead space because again, it just livens up the room. And I threw a little sticky wallpaper on this electrical panel to spruce it up a little bit. I wanted to cover it with art, but that was too much work. So I just stuck a little piece of wallpaper on there. And a really nifty find I found on Amazon that I kind of use all around my house is these ceiling hooks. They're adhesive, so you just stick them on and then screw the hook on, so it's really solid. And then I found these ropes on Amazon, these rope lights that you just plug into an outlet, screw a bulb in. These are smart lights. And then I found the pendant on IKEA. Yeah, just a cheap little lighting solution where there's no room for hard wiring, and you'll see that reused throughout the house. So behind me is the heart of my home and what sold me on this place right away, my massive island. Massive. So this is my kitchen slash dining space. The island includes enough space to seat 4, and I just have like these IKEA bar stools in there. In my last Toronto condo, I lived with a roommate and our kitchen was basically just this size here, not including the island at all. And when I lived there, I absolutely hated to cook. It's really difficult to cook when you don't have ample counter space. And so having this island, I cook literally every single night and I actually enjoy cooking now. Having this much space allows just this to be my prep area, this to be the area I cook, and of course the area I serve here. I wanted to add this vase to just add some visual interest and height to the middle of the dining space. That's why it's not centered on the island. And I kind of have an obsession with cutting boards. I bought this cutting board recently, but I never use it and it's really just there as a display piece. But these are my prep areas where I bake and cut all my veggies. And then my meat cutting boards are over here. Another thing I love about this place is there's really top of the line appliances. All the appliances are Miele. So this oven is insanely good. It preheats in like 7 minutes max, and great stove. Usually I've had trouble with induction countertops, but this one is amazing. Something else that's super beneficial to have in a small space is storage, and this kitchen has the most storage I've ever seen in any Toronto condo. We have storage all along the top here, in the middle here, in the bottom, and on the island. So I have so much storage in this side of the kitchen that the island storage is really just used for my other trinkets, not kitchen related stuff at all. There is built-in undermount lighting in my kitchen, which I do sometimes like to use, but the only other lighting that really came with this place is these big lights over the island. And you'll notice it's a little dim in here because I only like to use the 12 lamps I have situated all around the house because the big lights are atrocious, and I'll show you. It's like a spotlight, it's giving hospital. And it's just not a cozy vibe in here at all. So I would never cook in here with the big lights. So this is much more pleasant. So when I first moved in here about 2.5 years ago, I had all of my Star Wars drawings in these frames, but it didn't really make for a cohesive space. So I picked these little prints up from Desenio, and I wanted the green just to complement all the plants I have all over my house and just to bring that organic vibe to the space. Also, I chose to lay it out this way to complement the size of the island because it starts where the island starts and ends where the island ends too, so it kind of creates this visual illusion of length. So believe it or not, this is actually only a 410 square foot studio in downtown Toronto, although I don't really think it feels like it. One of the reasons being, of course, this massive island that we've talked about. It just makes it so easy to host people, and it's usually difficult to host people in a studio, but you know, we've got 4 seats here. Whenever we're running beer pong, there's 2-on-2 over the island. You can fit at least 10 people around the island other than that, and then the rest of the space. I've hosted over 20 people here comfortably, and that's really hard to say in a studio. I think another component that makes this place look massive and feel massive is the high ceilings. In the middle, the ceilings are much higher than the other sides of the house, so that's why I made sure to add LED lighting at the very top to kind of draw your eyes up and bring your eyes to the height of the ceiling. And other than that, the length of the studio is also really long, just the distance from the door to the Juliet balcony. And also the layout of the studio is very simple. If you think about it, it's just a big rectangle with an island in the middle, and it's one of the most practical layouts I've ever seen. Over the past 2.5 years, in the middle I did debate moving into a larger place, but ultimately I came to loving the studio. I now love living in a small space. It feels practical, intimate, and it honestly has everything I need. We're now in my living room, bedroom / workspace. So starting with the bed, when I actually moved in here, I only moved in here with a mattress and 2 chairs. So I got this box spring off Facebook Marketplace for 25 bucks, and then I got a little cover on IKEA, and yeah, of course, threw the sheets on. I was initially planning on getting a bed frame, but I decided against it because usually the headboard is obviously on this part of the bed, and I just felt like it would cut into the space too much, and I didn't want to put the bed this way because I didn't want it to cut into all of this space here. So I laid it out like this, and having the headboards there actually creates a lot of visual interest on that wall, and it also doubles as a couch for whenever I'm hosting. So that's a nice added perk. So this light was actually a gift from my mentor when I first moved in, and it's still like one of my favorite design pieces in the house. It creates such a cozy atmosphere. Beside it, I have some open shelving. I'm actually usually very against using open shelving in studios because I feel like you should have clothes storage so you can kind of just tuck away the mess because there's nowhere else to really hide it in a studio. But yeah, that's why I've kind of kept it very clean. I have lighting, just decor items, and a few functional pieces. But yeah, mainly just lighting in an aesthetic little corner. And I have a plant there. Obviously, I don't get much natural light in that corner, and it's also under a vent, so I chose a very hardy plant. It's a ZZ plant, and it's thriving in that corner, and there's actually a bunch of new growth, so that's exciting. I intended to mount this mirror by the entryway because, you know, it has a little key catch and everything, but yeah, I never really got around to it, and it kind of just stayed here, and I think works well with the rest of the furniture pieces. By the way, everything I've shown so far is from IKEA. Like I said, when I first moved in, I had to renovate the entire place. In hindsight, I do wish I had taken my time buying some furniture pieces, but I was just really excited to start decorating my own space, so I kind of bought everything at once with a small budget. So I bought everything, all the large furniture pieces you see, including the, you know, the rug, the pillowcases, the bedspreads, everything for under $2,000. Okay, moving on to my workspace / television. I do work from home 2 days a week, but when I first moved in here, I was fully remote. So I got this cool little monitor setup that's mounted just via a stand I got on Amazon. And both of these monitors are actually open box from Best Buy. So I got them at a great deal. If you're looking for tech, look for open box Best Buy deals. They are really a steal. Yeah, that's my computer, and my work computer would just plug into these 2 monitors here. Since I don't have room for a television, this kind of doubles as a TV. You can actually pull, I won't do it now, but you can actually pull this monitor out so you can watch it from the bed. Or usually when I'm just hosting people, I have like music videos playing in the background here. So that's kind of a nice vibe. When I first moved in, I knew I wanted my table to be in front of my window slash Juliet balcony, because it's just nice to have natural light in your face when, you know, you're in front of a screen all day. I found these little adhesive wall sconces on Amazon. It was a nice little renter-friendly hack to add light into this corner, as well as this little light strip. Also, just got reminded, I scratched the paint a little bit here, but when I first moved in, the studio used to be like a dark gray color and it was very dull. And honestly, after I moved in and everything was empty, I thought I'd made a huge mistake. So the first thing I tackled was painting all of the walls. I painted them the brightest white I could find. That was Chantilly Lace by Benjamin Moore, and it cost about $110 to paint the entire place. I just did one coat. It's not very professional or anything, but it definitely went a long way in brightening the space. I was a little skeptical of doing such a bright, cool white, but I always have warm lighting in here, so it reflects off of the surfaces nicely. You couldn't tell that it's like a cool white because of all the warm lighting in here. Moving on to this little section here, I just have a bookshelf and some clothes storage for clothing that I couldn't fit in my main closet. It was important that I had clothes storage for my clothing in case, you know, I couldn't be bothered to fold my laundry one day and I could just shove it in there, so that was important. A little design tip is whenever you're decorating surfaces, to follow the rule of threes. So 3 objects are always more interesting than 1 or 2. So I have this plant to add some height here, a stack of books, and then this hanging plant here. And yeah, I have a lot of plants, 3 live plants, 1 fake plant. Other than that, it's very simple storage area. So I would definitely say that this design style is very much organic modern. I liked working with organic tones, you know, the rattan, the bamboo, the different furs and the cowhide, the cane webbing on the storage. I just felt it created a very warm vibe in here. I was actually inspired by the interiors at One Hotels in Toronto. I just loved how the light wood tones created a very serene and peaceful atmosphere. And whenever I have guests, actually, every single one of them, the first word they use to describe the place is cozy. And that's exactly the vibe I was going for in here. And I think we've achieved that with a mix of all the lighting and the natural textures in here. I wouldn't say that organic modern is still my interior design style. Next, I'm going to show you guys my washroom, which is my most recent renovation and a better reflection of how my design style has evolved these past 2 years. So now we're going to take a look at the washroom, which is one of my most recent upgrades and long overdue, because for the past 2.5 years, this washroom just made me sad and I didn't like being in there. It had very white hospital lighting and gray and off-white tones everywhere. It just wasn't very satisfying to be in there. With this renovation, I was kind of going for boutique hotel vibes, and I went for a very bold color in there. Even though I wish I could have done that out here, since I'm renting, I wanted to, you know, play it safe for the main space. But in here, I really took a risk and I think it's paid off. And this is my new and improved washroom. So the color I went with is Hasbrook Brown by Benjamin Moore. I wanted like a maroony brown tone to go with that boutique hotel vibe. I was a little skeptical going so dark, especially since I wanted to paint the ceilings too, but I think it's turned out great. It's matched my vision to a T. Other than that, the sconces actually used to be like stainless steel and they were like rusting. It just looked hideous. So I spray painted these brown, and then these sconces actually now look beautiful because there's not neon white hospital lighting in there anymore. All my lights in my home are smart lighting, so I can change the colors to whatever I want, but I always keep it in this warm tone to just create a very spa-like, serene atmosphere in here. Other than that, I didn't even have like a toilet paper holder or any towel fixtures before, so I just bought some adhesive ones on Amazon to have like better towel placement, so I don't have to step out of the shower to get a towel anymore. It's just within reach. So just a more of an ergonomic setup here. And I added these hanging plants, these fake plants, of course, because there's no light in here, from IKEA. I was inspired by this creator on YouTube that I love called Renee Renovates, and she had like ferns all over her washroom, so I kind of wanted to go with that vibe. I wanted this renovation to be on an extreme budget, but still give off that luxurious boutique hotel vibe. I did this all for slightly over $200, just because I was really hell-bent on adding a new shower fixture, which is just a, you know, a functional perk, and is probably my favorite part of the washroom now. And I highly suggest everyone renting in Toronto switch up their shower head because it's a game changer. I was weary about the shower pressure, but it's so much better with it. I also just have white accenting throughout the washroom, again, because I have warm lighting and it can reflect off of all the white surfaces. So I got this on sale at HomeSense. Like, this is my actual shower curtain, but then this is just a cloth one I got at HomeSense for 10 bucks on sale, and then a matching rug, and then of course white towels. So all of the lighting in my home is smart lighting from the brand Govee. It's all controlled by the same app, but I've actually created shortcuts on my phone, so you could add a little widget with the shortcut. So when I click one button, I can change all the lighting to a warmer and more cozy atmosphere. And this is sort of my wind down function, what I have in the evenings when I'm just watching a movie. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm not very active on social media, but if anyone in Toronto wants to go HomeSense shopping together, you can find my Instagram in the description. Bye. Okay, that's the take. Yeah, first try.